Welcome back, Truth Seeker. May 4th, 2019. Going to review very quickly the NBA and NHL playoffs, the boxing match tonight, and also quickly scan the baseball games. If you missed the Kentucky Derby decode that was put out yesterday, please check it out. If you watch the first 15 minutes, you're going to learn a lot. Seems that the day is destined for Bob Baffert to make history. If that favorite horse game winner wins, that jockey has an incredible alignment. The jockey's name's 77. Bob Baffert's name's 77. It would be the 7th year in a row the favorite won. And notice the favorite odds, 9-2. That's a ratio of 4.5 to 1. 4.5 is a lot like the date, May 4th, 4/5. But watch the video because all of Baffert's jockeys have incredible alignment. It's just that favorite jockey has the most amazing. So, Baffert attempting to become the second trainer to win 6 Kentucky Derbies. He would do it at age 66. The last time it was done was in the year 52. When you write out 6 as a word, it equals 52. That was 67 years ago, the 19th prime number. 67 is the 19th prime. There's 19 horses running this year, 2019. The one jockey that has the 67 connection is Improbable's jockey. So check out the beginning of that video that was uploaded yesterday. For the rest of sports today, the date numerology 48, 21, 28. It's the day leaving 241 days left in the year, the 53rd prime. Robert A. Baffert equals 241. 2 of his horses have 53 Gematria. Improbable has the 48. Game winner and roadster both equal 53. Anyhow, Warriors at Rockets. There's 2 things to consider here. Just looking at today's game, if you were blind to the future, you'd have to think things look good for the Rockets today. That's because the Warriors can be kept at 107 wins against Houston on this 28 date. 107 is the 28th prime. And the Warriors can pick up their 28th total loss of the season on the 28 date. Rockets equals 28 in the most pure cipher. The Warriors could also stay at 48 wins at the Rockets on the 48 date. Mike D'Antoni, notice his next win or loss is 48. That could go either way. But here's what the scare is for Houston. If the Warriors win today, they go up 3-0. And Game 4 is on a date with 23 numerology. Sweep equals 23. It's also on a date with 50 numerology, and if the Warriors won today and the next one in Houston, they'd get their 50th win in Houston, sweeping them. So that is something to consider about today's game. If you're doing real-time betting, keep this riddle in mind. Also interesting, the next game is on Chris Paul's birthday, and Game 5 back in Oakland is on Mike D'Antoni's birthday. So Rockets got the riddle today, but if they slip, it looks like it's because the riddle is for the Warriors to sweep the series. If the Warriors do go down today, the next game is on a date with 30 numerology, and the Warriors are at 30 away wins right now. So something else to consider. Okay, Blue Jackets and Bruins in the NHL. Blue Jackets and Bruins. By the way, in Vegas, the money's big on the home teams today in the NHL. The Bruins are at home. Here, I'll switch this over here so you can see. The money's a little bit more lopsided in this game. Over 80% is on the Bruins. In the Sharks game, over 70% is on the Sharks. But here's what it is. The date numerology, which was very good through the first round of the playoffs and hasn't been quite as good in the second round. This is something to keep in mind. But the date numerology says today that the Blue Jackets should lose. They would pick up their 21st loss against the Bruins all-time on the 21 date. That was a note from last game. One thing that could go for the Blue Jackets today is it's their 17th game at Boston. 17 is the 7th prime, so that's one thing that could go in the Blue Jackets' favor, but that date numerology goes against the Blue Jackets. 21st loss on the 21 date. There's nothing else that really screams out about the stats in this game. It's just primarily that date numerology. With regards to the Blue Jackets away record on the season, it's also 28-15. If they did not win today, they'd stay at 28 away wins. Blue Jackets equals 28, 28 date. Remember the story about the La Nina sinking right around the time this series began? La Nina equals 51, Boston Bruins equals 51. The La Nina is a Christopher Columbus ship. We're talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets. So also, the next game in this series, is May 6th, which will be the date with 30 numerology. The Bruins' next loss would be the 30th on the season. So that's another reason to think that the Bruins would fend off the loss today. So the majority of the money is on the Bruins, which makes me a little bit apprehensive. It makes me think that the Bruins probably won't cover. But the numbers do suggest that they should win today. So if I was going to bet the Bruins, I'd bet the money line to not get beat on the spread. Anyway, Avalanche Sharks. We got the same type of date numerology riddle here. Remember, 21 date, the Avalanche could get their 21st away win of the season in this game. The Sharks are 35-27-1 at home against Colorado. If the Sharks lose today, they'd pick up their 28th loss on the 28 date at home. So the date numerology goes both ways. That's the big standout thing for this game. This game does seem destined to go to Game 7. Remember the riddle with Von Miller, the Denver sports star for the Broncos, who wears the number 58. The story came out just before this series began that he caught the Shark and he let it go. If the Avalanche win today, they'll be up 3-2 going back to Colorado with a chance to close out. And if they blow it and the Sharks come back and win the series, it'll be like the Shark that got away with Von Miller. Von Miller wears the number 58. Game 7 is on 5/8. And that game is 43 days after Von Miller's birthday. San Jose equals 43. Colorado equals 43. 4-3 series seems in the cards. But I do think the Avalanche are going to go up 3-2 today. The date numerology says it. I would take the Avalanche to cover just in case they lost by a goal. They got the better riddle to win. But I always prefer the conservative strategy. You can take an underdog to cover if they have the better riddle. That way, if they lose in a close game, you still win. So that's my philosophy. You can use yours. But if the date numerology prevails, Bruins should win and Avalanche. In boxing today, big fight, Canelo Alvarez versus Daniel Jacobs. This is a huge Gennady Golovkin Triple G riddle. So here's what it is. Canelo Alvarez is 28 years old. A perfect number. All of these things sum to 28 in the base ciphers. Boxing, boxer, KO, man. The fight's on a 28 date numerology. If Alvarez wins, this will be his last fight at age 28. And he'll have a perfect record at age 28. Like 28's a perfect number. His next birthday is 75 days from today, or a span of 76. Very interesting because the fight's on May 4th. Canelo Alvarez equals 54. And with regards to the span of 76 days to his birthday, Daniel Jacobs, the opponent, is 76. So you can see that the fight is structured for Canelo Alvarez. There's not as interesting of an alignment with Daniel Jacobs. His birthday not as interesting. Canelo Alvarez's next win is his 52nd in T-Mobile Arena, where the fight is in the most pure cipher, equals 52. He's had a lot of big fights there. So he can get his 52nd win in T-Mobile Arena. We don't have a date numerology to support the win or loss record of either fighter, so the closest thing we can go off of is the venue. Could get 52 in T-Mobile Arena. And if you want to put in a future for Gennady Golovkin, his next wins is 39th in MSG in New York. It looks like Lock City. But the last time Daniel Jacobs lost was to Triple G. Keep in mind, G's the 7th letter. Check this out. Well, before I show you the Triple G thing, here's something else to think about. Tonight's fight's going to start at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time between these two. So it'll probably go into May 5th, 5-5. This is going to be the 55th bout for Canelo Alvarez, whose real first name is Saul. So notice his name has the 55-28 connection as well. This fight will be going into May 5th on the East Coast, very likely. Probably go to decision. But Daniel Jacobs, his last loss was to Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, March 18th, 2017, which was exactly 777 days before this fight, or 111 weeks. Again, his nickname is Triple G, who we lost to. GGG. March 18th is the 77th day of the year. Gennady Golovkin equals 77. You see how this goes? So his last fight on the 77th day of the year that he lost 777 days ago. And the thing is, Alvarez just gave Golovkin his only career loss. Daniel Jacobs only has 2 career losses, the last of which, again, came to Golovkin. Alvarez's only career loss is to Floyd Mayweather. But there's definitely a riddle here. And the only way I could see this riddle going in favor of Jacobs is if it's like, you know, he lost to Golovkin, but Golovkin lost to Canelo, and now he can avenge his loss to Golovkin by beating Canelo. That's the only way I could see this fight being for Daniel Jacobs. But just seeing how it's structured, how it's synced up with Alvarez's his age, his birthday, the day of the fight, and the fact that he can get that 50-second win in T-Mobile Arena, I gotta lean that way. So real quick, the other thing I want to do today is scan baseball. We're trying to see if baseball's getting back on track. I noticed the prime number relationships are starting to come through. So just scan some of these games here real quick and show you what's popping out, at least to my eyes. Notice the Mariners are 11-5 away. Again, 11, the 5th prime number, the year of the 115th World Series. The Marlins are 6-13 at home, 13, the 6th prime. Notice if they lost today, they would be 9-23. 23, the 9th prime number. Baseball, a game of 9s. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. Will the Marlins become 9-23? The Athletics doing the prime number thing right here. Let's see. The Orioles would have to win 2 in a row at home to get a prime relationship. It's not going to happen for every team, but just an observation. The Phillies are 13-6 at home, 13 the 6th prime. Remember, they went 12-6 before that. Phillies won 26. I'd have to think more about that one. I'm just considering that if they lost today, they'd be 13-7. Washington, D.C. is 137, who they're facing. The Nationals would become 7-7 away. D.C. on the 77th meridian. So again, we're not betting baseball. We're just looking to see if riddles throughout history that have persisted are showing up, because baseball's been kind of weird this year. So actually, I could say it's been a lot weird. Started off just fine, but then it got real weird. Seems like the last week, though, things have been a little more normal. Remember the George Herbert Walker Bush tribute, which we called earlier this year between the Astros and Rangers? Again, Bush died in Houston. This isn't nearly as tight of a connection because the Bushes ran the Rangers and he died in Houston, so we saw that riddle. But I'm just noticing the possibility of the Angels becoming 11-8. Remember, that was the big number in that riddle with that game. George Herbert Walker Bush equals 118, so does Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles on the 118th meridian. So I'm just wondering if the Angels could fall to 11-8. If they do, really follow the 118s with Houston this year, kind of like how they're 8-11 away, that number in reverse. If the Mets went down tonight, they'd be 9-9. Brewers is 99. We've seen the Brewers 9-9 riddle hit, and we've seen it barely miss. So, but Brewers is 99. So keep an eye on that. If the Rangers split their next two, they'll be 11-8, like George Herbert Walker Bush. Earlier this year, they had that big 118 tribute. Remember, Major League is 108 double stitches on a baseball. So with a quick scan, I think those were the ones that really stood out. There's nothing else I'm overlooking here. Yeah, I think those are just the riddles on the surface that are jumping. If the Rays won 1 and lost 2 in their next 3 away games, they'd have a prime number relationship. Those primes do come up. 13, the 6th prime. So, let me see how many more games the Mariners got against the Indians here. Today and tomorrow. I won't be surprised if the Mariners end this series at 19 wins because Cleveland Indians equals 67. 67 is the 19th prime number. So, would be a fitting team to get the 19th win against. Oh, something else to consider. The date numerology has been really inconsistent in baseball. I'm waiting to see that get back on track. But we do have a 21 date. Cardinals could pick up their 21st win today. Is there any other teams with the 21? Let me scan that again real quick. The Rays are at 21. Again, when you're already on the number, it's not so consistent. If they stayed there, though, if the Orioles won today, I'd be thinking they're probably going to win the next game and do the 5 and 11 thing again. 11, the 5th prime. So maybe those might be the only 21s on the board. Oh, the Dodgers are at 21. Again, I'm never comfortable when a team's already on the number, but just something to watch. So, Los Angeles does have the 89 connection. If the Padres did win, that actually could make some sense. So, all right. Those are the riddles for baseball today. We'll leave it there. Be back tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. We're going 7 days a week. 7 days a week until the playoffs are over. Good luck, Truth Seeker.